Hey everybody, Jamin here from Game Show, and I've got a very special treat. I've got Ru Weerasuriya, the creative director for Ready at Dawn, and we're here to talk about their new game, The Order 1886. So, what do you think?
Let's do it.
All right, cool. Tell me a little bit about the world of The Order.
The Order 1886 is a game that takes place in Victorian era London. So it's a recreation of our history in some ways. We've taken some liberties by using real events and real people and kind of adding kind of a fiction that really didn't happen at the time.
Right. Why Victorian London?
Because it's
frilly shirts.
Yeah, the frilly shirts, the clothing. I mean, honestly, like part of it is that. It's just that Victorian era London is just filled with such an interesting like gamut of not just like, style, clothes, machinery, industrialization, people, politics, that period between 1848 all the way to the First World War. Really changed the way the world is today. So it was kind of like a rich ground for us to base our work.
What was it like recreating sort of London? Is it like a one-to-one sort of map of London, or like how do you sort of stay true to sort of what London is, but allow yourself space to create something new?
I think we all start when we want to make a real game. You all start with this vision of like we're gonna rebuild London, and actually we did. We kind of wanted to. We went there with a team of 20-odd guys. So you go out and you have this dream of recreating London. And then you actually try to do it, and you're just like, there's absolutely no way. Number one, it's pretty much close to impossible to really depict London in such a precise manner. But then what you do is that you take the cues, the visual cues from everything that you see, and you build something that is London, that people will recognize, and Londoners will recognize as London, but with your own, kind of flavor into it, especially for gameplay.
So I was obviously watching the trailer, which a lot of people have done, and one of the most noticeable things is the fog and that atmosphere. How did you go about recreating a fog that felt and looked real?
You start off with one idea and actually it becomes bigger and bigger. For us, the fog, especially this generation of consoles, on PS4, it was to create something volumetric, something that actually not just was like in the past,
Volumetric, what is
volumetric? It's a fog that basically actually has an actual almost mass. If you look at it, it actually you can walk through it. You can displace some of it and all that
like
stuff.
Water or something like that.
Yeah, like water, like that. But we also had to create this kind of fog that's more like smoke, even for when you throw a smoke grenade. That really is, kind of something that you can walk into. And
so you had to distinguish between like fog, but then also a smoke grenade.
Yeah.
As well.
I mean, and it's fun. I mean, like you see that depth and all that dirtiness that all of that creates, and it's really you see actually with the generations that more and more we're able to do things that feel more real.
Lighting. I wanted to ask you about lighting in this game. I feel like lighting is one of these things that for game players, again, it's one of these things they notice when it's really good. Maybe they don't notice it if it's not quite as good, or they don't know what about lighting. Could you tell me a little bit about like how, obviously the fog is a big character, but how does lighting and designing a set influence what people see when they play the game?
Lighting was another big endeavor for us, purely because we created this look and this feel for the game that we call filmic, not only in the way that you play the game, the way you see the game in anamorphic, in an anamorphic format, but also anamorphic. We actually decided to have the player play in a format that is not 16:9, not a regular 16:9 format, but a 2:4 more CinemaScope style format.
Oh, so it has like a different kind of depth to it?
It's got black bars, on top and on bottom, because we wanted this kind of white feel that you get from movies, that kind of gives you more on the sides, and that feel is kind of one of the ways that the visuals of the game and the feel of the game is portrayed to the player. But lighting was a big part of it, because when we started doing lighting for this game, we really kind of wanted to emulate some of the things and film techniques that actually are out there. So we created something called an air light, and the air light is really what you find in movie sets, where you put a light out somewhere, on the set, and you want to create some atmosphere, so you actually have dust around it, and the dust lights, so it feels like there's a glow around that light.
Okay, interesting.
It's
Is there a particular film that you all looked at as like, if we can take some of the lighting from...
Not any particular film. It was more like techniques that we've seen from a lot of movies actually that have used it for a few decades now, and recreating that allowed us to actually give that depth, that feel that like the air is almost palpable. You can actually touch it and feel it. And lighting actually was such a huge part of making sure that a world, especially that has such a strong visual, felt real.
We have a lot of viewers of Game Show who are interested in becoming game designers or working in the game industry someday. What advice, when you meet someone who says, I really want to get in the games, what advice do you give them?
I mean, honestly, the best thing about the game industry is that I realize more and more how many people come from different backgrounds, and it can be from anything. I mean, We have people that came from like I said, illustration, into this. People that came from, of course, coding and like true actually career paths that they had. But there's people like literally investment bankers that basically are in gaming today. There are lawyers that are in gaming today, but not just doing law in game. Producers and people who are actually coming into this from so many different backgrounds. The most important thing ultimately is passion. And you will see that every single place you go. You always have those guys who shine. And the reason why they do is because for them, there's always a way to make things better.
Right.
Those people who have that in them, who want to get their hands dirty, who don't mind touching anything at all in a game, they have a tendency to basically learn on the job. And I think gaming actually becomes, I still feel is something that you learn on the job. 90% of what I know from games, I've learned after I started working, if not more. And for anybody who wants to get into games, it's really that. It's just that you have to be passionate. You have to kind of like be able to, of course, work in a team, but also know what it is about games. Not just I love games.
Right.
What is it about games that you love, and pursue those, because trust me, like as a studio, we are always looking for great people. So the more people come to the industry, the better we're gonna be.
Ru, thank you so much for your time, and you all should look for The Order 1886. It'll be out February 20th. Thank you so much.
Thank you.